Today's iconic eateries of South Florida edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox is brought to you by TransWorld Business Advisors.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Bifo, and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome fave with shafafa.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition and another week of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. And today, boy, do we have a historical treat for you. It's another TransWorld Business Advisors iconic eateries of South Florida edition. And today we are at The Flow. Also, well, the traditional name is the Floridian, but a lot of locals in Fort Lauderdale know it affectionately as the Flow on Las Olas Boulevard in one form or another. Since 1937, we have Andy Cagnetta from TransWorld Business Advisors.
It's always good to be back, and we love the Flow, and we love the Padula family because they are taking over some of these iconic spots here in town and doing such amazing things with
Yes,
them.
and without further ado, here is Maurice Padula. Congratulations on the new marriage.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mazel
very
tov,
much.
as they say in my
Yes.
parts of Brooklyn. And but Mazel tov also on your family, your father Leone, who is, I guess, off traveling. But you guys have really been staples now of the local restaurant community in terms of you've owned Grand Forno Bakery for a long time.
Absolutely.
And now you've gotten into the whole restaurant game. You guys must be gluttons for punishment or something. But how's it
it's
been
like
going?
We can't get enough. Luckily, we still have the passion of food and service that really keeps us going.
So tell me a little bit. I guess there's so many places we could start. Let's start with Grand Forno, and there's also Grand Forno Pronto, which is a little further west on Las Olas Boulevard.
Yes.
You guys ended up like taking over that business, but it's well known throughout the local community, not just because you have great, fantastic pastries and bread products at both bakeries,
Thank you.
but you provide bread to a lot of the best restaurants in town.
Absolutely. Just to name some of the few, Anthony's Runway 84. We do Cafe Martiranos.
Yeah.
We do all the restaurant people's.
Tim Petrillo and his group.
Yeah.
And don't forget our friend Joey over at Cafe Seville.
Seville, absolutely.
That sourdough that
Absolutely.
you need to dunk with your shrimp and garlic sauce, or the octopus with the Santa Fe sauce. That bread is essential.
Thank
So
you. Thank
you
you.
gues do a
Thank
great
you.
job with that.
Thank you very much.
And so talk a little bit about the foray into some of the, because we were going over it before, we were on the air, Maurice, but you now have 5 restaurant properties overall, including the Grand Fornos, right?
Correct. We have Grand Forno Pronto. We have Grand Forno Bakery, the Floridian Diner, Cafe Del Mar.
On the beach.
Right on the beach.
It's kind of really slow there these days, right?
Yeah, it is. It's so slow. I don't like to go over that.
Exactly.
There's a gridlock of bikinis and college kids.
He's
and
a newly minted married man. Those are
Correct,
things he
yes,
does not see.
You can't go
Correct.
there anymore.
Correct.
I can't go there anymore. I used to love going and hanging out just during spring break, just because it made me feel invigorated. And I say, this is why I live here. Now, when I go over there, I just feel like a creepy old
Old dirty
man.
man.
me and you both.
So that's Cafe Del Mar. And then last but not least, you just kind of acquired and rebranded a place in Lauderdale by the Sea, right?
Absolutely. Which was also another staple there for the last 20 years. It was Mulligan's.
Right.
It's been there for, like I said, 20 years. We took it over in March, and
It's called Pier 14 because I guess that's the name of the pier that's
Correct.
now half eaten by sharks or whatever they.
Correct.
It's a private pier that got chewed up by one of the storms.
one of the storms.
And I guess I don't know, is it the Anglin family that owns it?
Yes,
But they
yes.
haven't gotten the funds together or the
Correct.
thing to. So when you go up to Lauderdale by the Sea and you hang out at the beach, and it's a beautiful place, you'll see that you can only go so far on the pier. It's actually closed now, but
It is.
you could find Pier 14 very easily, along with some of our other great sponsors up there.
Yes, sir.
Even Keel Fish Shack, Taco Craft, and I've walked in to Pier 14 and I looked at the menu. It looks like you got a really nice eclectic mix of tapas. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
It's a tapas and cocktail kind of vibe that we have going on over there. And they do crafty cocktails. We do a bunch of small little tapas and main entrees as well. But the people love for the happy hour over there, and they really appreciate the food and the service that we give.
Now, have you guys partnered with the people from American Tapas on that one, or did I have that
correct.
backwards? Okay,
That's
so
correct.
that's why it has that similar vibe and menu
Exactly.
as American Tapas, which is a
Exactly.
little further west on Commercial and also a really good place. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
all right, you got your hands in everything everywhere in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
But let's get to the meat of the matter today, which is the Flow, the Floridian. Tell me a little bit, because I was, researching it before this edition, and it, he's saying it's been here in some form or another since 1937.
Correct.
That
Since
is pretty
1937.
darn old.
So that makes them
it
what,
is.
top 3?
It's
And
like
oldest in
Cap's Place, which hasn't been continuous operation. That's like the seafood place in its own island up around Deerfield area.
Right.
We've got our friends, the Studiales,
Acres.
at Tropical Acres, where we've done a
Right.
TransWorld iconic eatery show earlier, 75 years. But this place, so it started off not as a restaurant, right? What do you know about the
No.
history?
So it actually started off as just a pharmacy and like a soda pop shop. And
Yeah,
Okay.
soda fountain.
Where there's
Old-
food and
old
stuff
school
there.
soda
Was it
fountain.
right in this room?
It was not in this room. It was actually 2 rooms over.
Okay.
The original where the main dining room is.
And this is the 1400 block, 15th Avenue and Las Olas Boulevard,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I mean, if you've lived in this town for
No,
any
this is
amount of
Las
time,
Olas.
you
Yep.
should know where this is. The
Correct.
Flow is legendary.
Correct.
So the soda fountain pharmacy there at 37, and then what happened?
Then ended up getting bought by a Greek family, and they ran it as a Greek diner
Mhm.
for about 40 years.
That was like from the 50s. Well, actually, was it from? I thought it was like the 40s. Butch Samp came in and I guess bought it from that Greek family.
Exactly.
And I've read different accounts in the past archives of the Sun Sentinel that Butch bought it either in 1977 or 79, but somewhere in the late 70s. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
He ran it successfully for about 40 years. He expanded the couple properties all the way to the end of the
he
block.
made it 24 hours,
He
right?
made it 24 hours.
Which was a little bit insane, but he picked up on something that Fort Lauderdale is a party town.
Yes.
big
yes.
time.
And that people, when they get done clubbing, want a place to go to get their eggs and toast
Want
to
good
soak
food,
up some of
exactly.
the alcohol. And I remember coming, well, actually, I barely remember coming in here some nights. But it was funny because back in the day when there were nightclubs down on the New River, Squeeze, and then there was another place up on Federal. And if we didn't feel like, depending on who was driving and who was,
How sober you were.
yeah, we
It's
either
fine.
ended up at
It's
the
past. The statute of limitations is done.
we either ended up at the Floridian or at Lester's Diner down
Right.
further south on State Road 84, because those were the 2 diners in town that were open 24/7.
Correct.
And now you still, I guess during the pandemic, things got a little disrupted. But now you've gone back to the 24-hour schedule, right?
Yes, we are still 100% 24 hours, 365 days of the year. We dedicate our pride on that.
Jeez.
Butch really wanted that,
Yeah.
and so we're definitely going to keep that as a staple.
Now, before we get into your family taking it over, now Butch, local legend, and this place was kind of like the unofficial meeting spot of all the movers and shakers in Fort Lauderdale. For breakfast, if you wanted to kind of know what was going on, and when I was a news columnist at the Sun Sentinel, I would just come in here about 7:30 in the morning, and that big table, and I like that you've kept that big kind of
We have
community
to.
table.
We had to.
But that big community table, Butch would sit at the head of the table. And then on one side, Mike Satz, who was the longtime state attorney general for Broward County, was in here every morning. And he also, Jesse Gaddis, who owned Yellow Cab back when it was a monopoly, and he was also one of the most powerful people in town. He'd be here every morning. Norm Kent, our late friend,
That's funny.
and the whole reason why there is a lunchbox, because it was kind of his idea, and I started working with him on his show. But he would actually broadcast his show
Here.
live here
Yeah.
in the mornings, the Norm Kent show.
Yep.
And then so it was like, it was always a good meeting spot, and I just love the fact that you've kind of maintained the traditions here. So job well done.
Thank you. When we ended up getting this place, that was really one of the highlighted points that we wanted to expose the authenticity of what the Floridian has been for the last since the 37.
Yeah. A gathering spot
exactly
for the community.
Exactly.
Sometimes sober and sometimes not.
Correct.
But
of all shapes and sizes can come in here as they wish, how they please.
And you've done a fantastic job of taking the crust off the edge here. You know,
Yeah.
like,
No,
so,
the floors look great. What
Yeah,
do you
man.
call these floors?
I mean,
It's
They're honestly shower tile floors.
shower tile.
Oh, I was
floor.
gonna
But-
say that. That's
but
funny.
But it gives it this retro look that looks
It
absolutely.
does. The diner feel for the black and white tile, it really fits the diner look.
and you
you've
did
got
the ceilings. And,
Yes.
I mean, those old smoky drop ceilings.
Oh yeah.
I can't even imagine what was up there.
Yeah, you don't want to imagine. it was nothing that I have ever gone through in my whole entire
But a
life.
full kitchen redo,
Full kitchen redo,
full
we did-
bathrooms.
Correct.
when
Full
when
bathroom.
did you buy it? I know Butch. I've lost all track of time, but I think Butch died maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So when did you guys?
About
buy-
2 years ago.
About 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And Butch, for those who don't know, he also was a local legend. He bought and took over Ernie's Barbecue from the original owner, Ernie. I forget his name, Siebert or something. Ernie was a character. Butch was a character. Butch also had Tina's Spaghetti House on Federal
Yes.
Highway at
Yeah,
one
he did.
point.
Wow.
We're going way back machine here, but when he took over the Floridian and when Ernie's closed, he brought some of the Ernie's classic signature items over here, and I understand you still have some of those, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We have we still have the ribs. We still make the barbecue with the original recipe, the barbecue
Wow.
sauce. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Conch chowder,
Conch chowder. We still have
bimini
the
bread,
bimini bread. We still
Ooh.
have.
and you're using the bimini bread for some French toast, and you're also now using Gran Forno bread and pastry products here, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And that makes me do a happy dance when I showed up the other week for the
It's the
first. I
best.
can't believe I haven't been here since you guys bought it, but until
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago.
yeah, we haven't really
Marketed.
Yeah, we haven't really marketed it yet.
Today's the day.
Today's the day.
Today's
Getting the
day.
lunch
We're
box.
here now.
We're ready.
Getting
ready
the
to go.
lunchbox bump, and again, Let's Eat South Florida, 191,000
Nice.
members, and
There you
hopefully
go. Wow.
you guys will check it out and come down here because again, on the menu it says we now proudly serve Gran Forno, pastries and bread items, and I was like,
Absolutely.
wow, that's some great quality.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I had a really nice breakfast with the visiting friend the other week, and we had the French toast with the bimini bread. We had a little croissant sandwich,
Beautiful.
and that was good. You like the way I say croissant?
Yes, you did
A
it.
real French way. Hey, we have a little presentation for you, but I want to do it after the first break because we've already kind of used up. If you
Sounds
don't
good.
mind.
Absolutely. Let's
Andy,
do it.
is that all right with
Let's
you?
do it then.
Let us take our first break, and then we'll come back with a special presentation from the Flow, the Floridian, downtown Fort Lauderdale, Los Olas Boulevard, after these words.
Hey Lunchbox fans, is it time to sell your business? You've poured your heart and soul into your restaurant or business, and you want to see continue the legacy you have built. TransWorld can help. Call me, Andy Cagnetta, at TransWorld Business Advisors right now and see if it's time for you to retire and relax. Iconic brands like the Mai Kai, Mulligan's, Carlos and Pepe's, Mangoes, and many more turn to TransWorld to help sell. Contact TransWorld on Facebook or call 954-772-1122 or visit tworld.com. Again, that's 954-772-1122 or tworld.com.
When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks. They're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Looking for great seafood that's a little further inland? Luke's Seafood and Grill. That's Luke's with a C, 5511 South University Drive in Davie. Luke and Roxy, they're a great couple with great food. It's a mom and pop shop bringing the freshest fish and seafood to Western Broward. Some of the best jambalaya and fish cakes around. And Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? You can find his famous Scoobies, those sauteed crab claws, right there on the specials board most days. Oh, so good. So take a trip to University just north of Sterling today. Lunch, dinner, closed on Mondays. Tell them Mike Mayo's Lunchbox sent you. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Feel like getting away without leaving town? Then you got to check out the House on the River in Fort Lauderdale. It's a beautiful restored historic home with indoor and outdoor dining right on the new river. You'll think you're in Charleston or Savannah. It has a gorgeous patio, porches, and private dining areas, and it offers unique experiences perfect for a date night or fun times with friends and family. It has weekend brunches, happy hour, dinner Wednesday through Sunday. There's also a high tea on Friday and Saturdays, and the popular House of Veuve Champagne experience on weekends. The House on the River is in Fort Lauderdale's Himmershey district, just south of the Science Museum. For reservations and we're back on the Lunchbox, and as you can see, food has arrived, and I am busy taking pictures for the social media, the Instagram, Mike Mayo Eats, and Mike Mayo's Lunchbox on your IG feeds. Louis will be putting it all over TikTok. What is the TikTok handles? Do you have one?
At
for
SoFlaLive_.
SoFlaLive_. All right. We'll have to get a Mike
Yeah,
Mayo's
we'll get a
Lunchbox
Lunchbox one
TikTok.
going.
I'm old. I don't like the TikTok. It's enough already. I got the Facebook. I got the Instagram. I can't do it
agree
all
with
day.
you. I'm not into
Yeah.
TikTok either.
That's
for that
why
reason.
I'm
I'm
here.
into real life. I'm into real interaction, community, and that's why the Floridian is so great. You come here,
Absolutely.
Yep.
breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night, after a night at the opera or a night at the clubs or a night at the
Absolutely.
casino, in my case, the poker tables, which have been treating me very kindly lately. This is the place to come. And what do we have in front of us?
So we have
Maurice.
here's our conch chowder, still with the original recipe from Ernie's.
Looks beautiful.
Here we have our this is a new dish that we came up with. This is called the Floridian sandwich,
Nice.
and this is just with a sunny side egg on top, Swiss and bacon in the middle, pressed with French toast.
French toast. And this looks like the Bimini French. It's the thicker bread.
Absolutely.
That looks gorgeous.
Oh my
That's
God.
made with our sourdough loaf
And
from the
with
bakery.
Beautiful fried eggs. Have you put in any egg surcharge on things here now with the price of eggs being what they are? Or you
No,
kind of just
no, we
priced
have
it
not.
accordingly? Okay.
Yeah, we've priced it. We've kept it the same.
Okay.
That's our responsibility for that.
Dealing with the swings. And then this, look at
Exactly.
this beautiful, is that also house-made bun?
Yeah, so this is a Cali brioche. It's a new
Wow.
dish that we've created as well.
That looks fantastic.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's with avocado, soft scrambled eggs, cheddar cheese, and bacon. Very
That
good
is
with
a-
our brioche hamburger bun.
I hate to use this term, but it's a very sexy looking sandwich. You got the melted cheese, you
Oh,
got the
man.
soft scramble, you got
Beautiful.
the crisp bacon, and of course you got that luscious avocado, which just gives it gives it a healthy
It's the
twist. Yeah.
California BLTs with it.
Looks
Exactly.
great, and I love
Exactly.
that bun looks good.
Yeah.
And then you've got the New England clam chowder.
We've got the classic New England clam chowder.
Wow.
All right, well, I'm going to do a
Dig in.
christening on the Lunchbox. I got to start with the classic conch chowder that originated at Ernie's barbecue in Fort Lauderdale. I'm going to pass it down. Andy, if you'd like to take some
All
as
right,
well.
forget
Bon
Um,
appetito.
Thank you. Grazie.
You
It's
almost
Maurice
swore
Padula. He is part of the family that is now expanding a restaurant empire, but it's the Grand Forno. Is it called Grand Forno Group, or do you have any kind of name?
We don't have a group for it yet. We don't have a name for it yet, but we will
Mm.
be. Yeah, we'll be creating one very soon.
That's fantastic.
That
I
is
love
really good.
Thank you.
classic, old school, tomato base, conch, peas, potatoes. It's a standard signature item that has actually been transferred from one restaurant, one legendary restaurant, to another, and you can find it all at the Flow. All right, you want to? Let's do.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do the honors.
Let's
Elon.
do it.
Mr.
We-
Stern.
This is one of the fun parts. Is when we do these TransWorld Business Advisors iconic eateries of South Florida
There you
shows,
go.
Oh, look at that.
and we like
That's
to present to
beautiful.
you, Andy. You want to do the honors?
Sure.
Oh, wow.
The iconic eatery of South Florida, presented to the Floridian, founded in 1937. A Las Olas institution known for all-American diner fare and 24-hour service. The Flow, as it's known, began as a drugstore soda fountain and remains a favorite gathering spot for the hungry locals and tourists. March 2025, presented by Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, sponsored by TransWorld Business Advisors, and we're happy to have you guys as a client.
Thank
too.
you so
Thank
much.
you, buddy.
Very proud to present it to the Padula family that is keeping tradition alive.
Thank
I
you
love
very,
that.
very much. We really
I
appreciate
love
you, gentlemen.
when when people recognize that a place is just too important to let pass. After Butch died, there's always uncertainty of who's going to take it over. Is it going to just be sold for whatever? And
That was the whole debate. I mean, we were hearing things that there was rumors flying all over the place of whether we were going to sell it or people were going to buy it in
Right.
terms of remodeling and pulling up a skyscraper or something over here. But we really dedicated ourselves to not do that and to expose the originality of the Floridian and keep it as is.
Yeah,
There's
kudos
more
to-
to show.
Yeah, kudos to your dad and Butch. I've known Leone for a long time. Il Tartufo, Cafe Europa.
with Tony.
I mean, he
right,
he's-
Europa back in the day, and we were talking with Maurice during the break. I didn't realize, now it's a longtime staple on Las Olas, but when it first started, it was like humble beginners, of kind of a
Right.
small, narrow shop. And I used to go in there with an old girlfriend who lived right around the corner, and I just loved going in there. It was just such
Oh
a
my God.
It was
quaint
such
little
a-
place.
The quality was
Yeah.
beautiful. It
Wait,
was
there's more.
perfect.
Oh my gosh, you're trying to
I hear
slaughter
this.
us on the lunchbox. Look at this turkey
my
club. Oh my
Wow.
goodness. And a Monte
Ooh, I love a
Cristo,
Monte
which one of my
Cristo. Oh
friends
my
ordered
God.
when I was here the other week. It
I
looked
love
That's a
Monte
classic.
Cristo. Right
actually,
here.
he might have ordered
Right
a
here.
croque monsieur or a
Yes.
croque madame. You got all these classic French sandwiches. I want to eat everything, but I no longer can do that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a ceremonial breaking of the egg yolk because the kids on Instagram love that. If you want to
Oh,
photograph
I
this,
hate that you do
look
that.
at that. You get this. You got to jab it. And then
Oh,
it's
why
like,
you-
ooh, there goes the runny egg. And you get the yolk everywhere. And it's like, all right. Now, I'm not going to pick that up because I'm a new
Right.
reformed Mike Mayo. I have manners now.
Yeah, that's what
Andy
it
has taught me the ways of
is. Thank God.
proper society.
But I'll tell you the story. Leone, 30 years ago, came down to South Florida. He owned a restaurant in Hartford, Connecticut.
Oh, really?
Where I was also from.
Did not know this
And
backstory.
that's
yeah.
right. And so we never crossed paths in Hartford, but he came down here to buy a business. And he saw my name in the newspaper, and he figured, well, this fellow Italian can't be a bad guy. So he called me up, and he said, I'm looking to buy a restaurant down here. And he wound up, he had just gotten out of Il Tartufo, and he was looking to buy something else. And we became fast friends. We've been friends for 30 years. I've known this young man since he was a baby.
Yes,
So,
yes. Your
and,
families
and-
are beautiful people.
yeah, and they've done such a great job in town of keeping these iconic restaurants open, and that's what we again at TransWorld love to see is
Oh, Jesus.
oh my God.
got
Tell
It's
Joe
right there, right
stop.
next to Mo.
It's okay.
I think we've now hit our.
Maurice got the
we can
scouting
end it.
book on the lunchbox, and that our motto here is more is better.
well,
Yeah.
it's good to cover the bases, right? Like we
Right.
have great
So what's
breakfast
that?
dishes.
That's amazing.
This is a
Delicious.
classic hamburger. that we serve over here. Just a diner hamburger that's got a little bit of everything on it.
And
Oh my God.
Cheddar cheese, mozzarella cheese, bacon
and
sunny side up egg.
yeah, that's the new mantra. I think it's happened sometime like 20 years ago at the turn of the century.
All right.
Everybody
I'll try
just
something.
started putting an egg on it. Just
Yes.
put an egg on it, no matter what it is. And burger,
And it's got to
put
be
an
the
egg on
runny
it.
egg.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, this you call this now the Floridian breakfast sandwich? The one,
Correct.
this one, the egg on it is perfect because with that runny yolk and on top of this fresh house baked bread that you make at Gran Forno and then run it
Correct.
right across the street, and the cheese and the bacon. This is a really good, satisfying breakfast. I would never be able to eat a whole one of these anymore.
Yes. Yeah.
I could do a half, and then you bring it home and you have it
You
for
have the
lunch
other-
or a little
exactly.
snack later.
Exactly.
And your portion sizes here are, it's one of the
They're
things that
solid.
makes the Floridian.
Another thing that we couldn't change, that was just we've been getting great feedback from all of the customers, thankfully, and they whatever it is that the customer really asks for, we try to accommodate.
You can eat outside on the
Exactly.
street. You can eat inside.
Yeah, no,
They-
I sat outside al fresco the other week. It was a beautiful, delightful morning, and yeah, take advantage of this nice weather while it's here.
Definitely.
So it's great.
When I
And-
know we got a couple more breaks to get to, and I know you have a lot going on, but I'm just curious because we've been doing these, and I appreciate the past going into the future, and I think it's really cool what Andy, you guys are doing, and all these other restaurateurs who are like, just because it's old doesn't mean it can't be new, or doesn't mean it can't sustain, right?
Absolutely.
But as restaurateurs who own other restaurants, and you're forward thinking and you're creative and you want to be original, how difficult is it, and how do you combine the old? Because that's the thing, and nowadays, even with all the modern stuff, vintage is always cool, vintage, but how do you
move
try and
into the
keep
new, but
pace
preserve and honor
with dishes,
the,
with the facade, just how difficult is it, and how do you keep the old and try and be new at the same time?
Well, to be fair, it is extremely difficult in the terms of trying to modernize something that is vintage. It's not old; it's vintage at that point,
No.
correct?
Yep.
So you're trying to modernize something that's almost
Antique.
skipped a
Yeah,
bunch of generations. So it was very hard, but like I keep saying, if you try to expose the originality of it, it really is a beautiful piece, and you have to have the vision for it. You really have to have the eye for it, and being hands-on is how you can really know. Moving some pieces here and there, maybe even changing a different color of something and changing it back because it's not good. Trial and error,
Fluidity.
unfortunately.
Now you guys had a seamless transition, right? This place never closed after Butch passed,
no,
right?
we kept everything as we
So
didn't
you were
close.
able to stay open continuously.
Correct.
You assumed ownership. You took over. But how did you do all these renovations?
I was just about to say they kept it open. They did it at night.
Correct.
I watched them do it.
They
Oh,
did it in
really?
stages and pieces.
God.
That's
Yeah,
impressive.
we did.
So that you didn't actually, a lot of places when they do a reboot or a
jeez.
refreshing, they, they end up closing for 3 months and then it turns into 6
You
months
don't-
because the permitting and all that
Correct.
stuff.
Correct.
Oh my
And
God.
when you
I
do it,
know,
when
I-
you do things like that, a whole menu change comes in, a whole staff change comes in, and et cetera. We didn't want to do that. We really wanted to. If we were going to change things, it was going to be one step at a time, one
Right.
item at a time, one thing at a time, because you have people that have been coming here for 60 years, you
Right.
know what I mean? And 50 years that have just been every day of food, or people that come for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, they
7
become
days a week,
conditioned to
they
it. It's a
come here.
habit, and you don't want to
Correct.
break anybody's habit.
Yep,
That's
correct.
I'm
one
gonna
thing
build on it.
you've
You need
learned.
to trust. You need to gain their trust first,
Mhm.
and talking to all of our customers, me coming in here every day and being able to communicate with the customers has been a great pleasure of mine. Just-
I was going to ask, when you have the 5 different things going, how do you split up your time and what kind of team that you have in place? And how many of the employees were here a long time that you retained, I guess? So is that part of the equation? Yeah.
so we kept everybody.
Oh,
We
wow.
kept everybody. We did not want to change anything. We're not here to take work away from anybody.
Oh, interesting.
It was one of those things that we want to keep everything as is. We want to learn what you guys have been doing, and then we'll change.
That is
But-
very important and humble, too.
Absolutely.
Well,
I mean,
it's
that's-
impressive that they were willing to do that as well, right? A lot of the time when there's a
Correct.
regime change, quote unquote, people like, let me get the heck out of Dodge, like
immediately they would turn a switch.
And some new owners want to just change
You want
things
your
for
own
the sake of
team, yeah.
changing things and putting your own stamp on it. But it's
That's
smart to
interesting.
kind of sit back. And,
Yeah. I mean, day one, I sat down at the table with all the gentlemen over there and kind of told them, like, I'm not here to do anything at all. Actually, we really appreciate you guys and hope that this tradition keeps going.
By the way, this burger is fantastic too.
I mean, this California thing.
That looks like a hunk of. Is it like,
like a
8
nice
to 10
chunk of meat.
ounces of like nice ground beef? It's not one of these smash burgers.
No,
that
no,
is
no,
all
that's a
smashed
burger.
This is like a
That's a
hefty
10
burger.
ounce.
And that French toast sandwich is
Monte
ridiculous.
The Monte
Cristo,
Cristo.
Oh my god,
That's one of our best sellers.
Oh, it's so
Such
good.
a simple dish, but it's one of our best
I
sellers.
guess I'm gonna have to go in there.
It's one of
for
my
some
favorite
that.
things.
Yeah,
Whenever
you
someone
gotta
has a
have a
Monte
little
Cristo,
bit.
I have to
You
at
gotta
least.
have a little
I
Yeah,
have to
I'm gonna
have
get
it.
a little bit. I'm glad I have some appetite. I went to the gym this morning. I am feeling very
Do a
fit,
little switch up.
and so these are guilt-free calories here. So this is served with maple syrup, and you can like dunk it.
Yeah, you
in
have
the
to
syrup.
dunk it. That's
Yeah,
like the
you
whole
I
gotta
have
thing.
to dunk it. Is
You
that
gotta
by
dunk
law? I
Well,
have
a lot
to
of times
dunk
it's
it?
either jelly or like they're doing a French toast, so then it would be more of a syrup. I mean,
Correct.
That's like the
All right,
move.
all right,
Correct.
I'm dunking. I'm not taking a big bite. I'm going to cut this bite into
And you know
portions.
what's also nice is to see second generations come into restaurants, right?
Yep.
So I know, Maurice, I think your dad tried to talk you out of working at the bakery. And I kid, because he's the hardest working kid. I see him here at all hours, whether it be Easter, they're still cooking bread, whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas. I mean, you're here at all hours of the night.
Yes, that is true. He did try to convince me to not get involved in it at all. It's a very tough business. It's not for the weak, and you need to. There's ups and downs. Just it's almost like every other industry. I really don't want to take restaurateur as such a. But it's like every other business. There's ups and downs, and
hard work gets rewarded.
if you have the passion and the hard work and the dedication, then you'll get pretty close to where you need to get to.
And I'll tell you that, your family is always taking care of their employees, done a very good job of that, of being loyal. And I've watched it.
Absolutely.
Because you have very long time employees that have been with you for
over
forever.
25 years.
Yeah, right.
Loyalty, and that's
Uh,
old school values at play
Right.
right there, where you treat people right and they want to stay,
Yeah.
and then it just becomes a thing that people notice that kind of attitude.
Absolutely.
And the second thing I know his dad, and I know your family has continued, is they're very tough on their food providers.
As you have to be.
He literally goes around. I know for a fact. I've been with him in the car, and he's been, driving
it's not a good
around.
drive.
Like he's driving around, and he's saying, "Hey, I'm not taking that case of
No, you
tomatoes.
have
to
I'm
be
not
hard.
taking
You
that-
have to
that
be
lettuce today."
hard with your purveyors, because otherwise, when they see you're serious
Take
about
advantage of them.
quality, then they know they can't mess around with you, and that you will send something back and say, no, that's not good enough. And
Correct.
And
Correct.
to have this kind of quality and quantity, you have to know what your food costs are, and they do a good job of keeping in touch with that too.
Thank you. Yeah, my dad taught me a lot in that. It wasn't really him teaching me; it was more me kind of learning from him.
What did you buy today?
Yes, exactly.
What'd you spend on that case of tomatoes?
I
can
could have
hear
got
it
it for
now.
half the price. Exactly. It's an everyday thing for him, but he does push me. He does push me to my limits, and I appreciate that the most.
No,
So,
you guys are constantly remodeling your restaurants, constantly cleaning them,
Correct.
constantly. I mean, you're not going to see this restaurant group in the newspaper.
no.
hopefully
Absolutely
not. We never make. Well, you never
You
know.
never know.
but
Right.
you run a
Great
clean
job.
shop, and you
Very
just
true.
hope that the box that came in last week with the shipment didn't have some stuff.
Correct.
Because I know that is one of the. That's
Correct.
it's a tough
It's
business.
tough. It's
It's
almost
a tough
impossible.
business because you got to maintain and stay on top of everything. There's
Exactly.
so many moving
There's
parts.
a lot of moving
literally.
parts that you
Yeah.
need to be on top of.
So I appreciate it. I would never do it in a million years. I just
So
like
thank
going
you for
around and
you
being
doing
the
it.
critic and just say, "Oh yeah, that's good. That's not so good." But
Yeah.
everything here is great. And since I've been back, I mean, Lubie, what's wrong with you? You said you've never been here before.
No,
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I'm born and raised in South Florida. I'm born and raised.
But up in Coral Springs.
No, Sunrise. My parents live in the same
Sunrise.
house that they bought the week before I was born. I don't know. It bothers me. Again, doing this show makes me both happy and sad at the same time, because it's like, what the hell have you been doing your whole life, you weirdo?
Right, this
Like,
is you never came down to downtown Fort
I
Lauderdale.
never
to
went
hang
this
out?
far east, I guess. Like I would
Okay.
do Riverfront a lot. Like I would do
Wow.
down. I never Las Olas
Right.
was big before I started going out, and then now I know there's like a rejuvenation of Las
Yeah.
Olas,
Yes.
but like
Especially the seaside.
Yes.
So a lot of people are walking down here now. So this is that. Listen, if you're living downtown Fort Lauderdale, which I was living down here for a while, the walk from, all the ways east, Andrews Avenue out to right here on Las Olas, right at the Floridian, is a great walk.
Oh, yeah,
Nice
beautiful.
stroll, come
Absolutely.
down
Beautiful.
here. You can stop here, have some lunch on your way back. Have some coffee at Cafe Gran
Forno.
Forno.
Grand Forno, yeah.
You see,
Or
I'm-
Cafe Europa.
Or
Cafe
Europa.
Europa. You still got
He's still
Tony
a good
does a
guy.
great job
He's still
over
a good
there.
guy,
Oh,
but
no.
Family
but
does
we-
a great
their
job.
desserts and pies. That's one of those places where I go in, I just eat dessert first, and then if I'm still hungry,
Yeah, but Grand Forno. By the way, everybody who moves down here from the New York area that says we don't have good bread, you haven't been to Grand Forno.
you know
yet.
nothing.
Correct.
If
You
you
know
know, you know.
nothing.
Correct.
You
Come
have
on.
not been to Grand Forno.
Does that
yet.
annoy okay? So your dad came from the Hartford, Connecticut, Northeast
No, but he's
area.
from Italy.
And-
Well,
well,
his family was
His
born in
family
Italy.
from Italy. You were born down here.
I was born in Hartford, Connecticut.
Oh, you were okay.
Yeah.
And
And we moved down here when
Yeah.
we were about 5.
do you
Well, I
get
was about
annoyed
5.
when people say there's no good bread, there's no good pizza, there's no good?
I do.
And-
I do because, in my personal opinion, Fort Lauderdale in particular is booming right now.
Yeah,
great food scene.
With food. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we have a great food scene, great restaurateurs, great
Yeah, Heritage, Reno, and
Well,
the
Catherine's right
goes
around the
down
corner.
It
block
goes
and-
on. I mean, Steve Martirano's been around for a long time. You
30
can't
over
say that-
30 years now. It's unbelievable. He
it's-
opened in 92, so we're going on 32 years. I just saw that. He was the answer. Hey, that good segue, Maurice. We
Oh, you
got to
haven't even
take
given
care
our
of
winner
some
yet.
business. Our contest and the clues. The answer this week was Cafe
Martirano's,
Martirano
right.
because yesterday was National Meatball Day, and when you think meatballs, of course you think of Steve
Steve.
Martirano and his meatball. You know what? Let's take our second break.
Yes.
Then we'll go to the contest winner. Surprise! It's somebody that
Will
is
ruffle
a
feathers.
repeat winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joanne, don't if you're watching, turn it off now. All right, let's take our second break, and then we'll come back with more from the Floridian and Maurice Padula of the empire growing Gran Forno family, but they're not called the Gran Forno Group. But
Not yet.
we got to come up with a
It's
catchy
good
name. Yeah,
we
Gran
gotta
Forno
get
Group.
It's a good name.
Or yeah, well, we'll
Come up with something.
We'll come up with
I'm
something.
sure.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be back more after these words. When people ask me about the best restaurants in South Florida, Casa D'Angelo is always at the top of my list. First-class dining, top-flight service, elegant atmosphere, and chef founder Angelo Ilia is legendary. The flagship in Fort Lauderdale has been serving the finest Italian cuisine since 1997, with other locations in Boca Raton and Aventura. As Angelo himself says, they have an unwavering commitment to unparalleled quality with meticulous attention to details. It's so good with house-made pastas, pristine seafood, unique meats like elk chops and bison, and seasonal specialties including fragrant fresh truffles from Italy. All locations open 7 days for dinner. Reservations recommended for a special occasion or any occasion. Casa D'Angelo. Tell them Mike Mayo sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk, and soon in Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for a Sunday brunch, and Taco Tuesdays with their $4 premium tacos, including their new birria tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-faced smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. Tell them Mike Mayo, the Lunchbox, sent you. Hey, it's Mayo for Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me, I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast. For the finest poultry and the freshest fish, Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market, located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, open 7 days. Since 1951, a South Florida tradition for stone crab in season, Thanksgiving turkeys, holiday feasts, and everyday eating. Great steaks, house-made sausage, and prepared foods, too. Delaware is not just a market, it's a celebration of taste, quality, and old-fashioned customer service with a smile. Sign up for their weekly email flyer at DelawareChicken.com and tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a great bagel with lox, matzo ball soup, deli sandwich, and rugelach, you know where I go? Grandpa's Restaurant in Dania Beach. It's a South Florida institution since 1957 that was revamped a few years back by a pair of New York bagel baking legends. Full deli and appetizing case with spreads, salads, and platters for takeout and catering. Grandpa's is near Federal Highway, just north of Sterling Road, open 7 days for breakfast and lunch. Go eat and enjoy. It's Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. For the finest and authentic Greek cuisine, Taverna Kima is the place to go. 6298 North Federal Highway in Boca Raton. It's been around for nearly 2 decades. Every day is a feast with grilled lamb and fish, house-made spinach pie and moussaka, gyros, traditional dips, mezes, with soft, warm pita. It's open 7 days for lunch and dinner with happy hour daily from 3 to 6 p.m., indoor, outdoor, private dining. So celebrate life at Taverna Kima for reservations. Okay, we're back on a TransWorld iconic eateries lunchbox at the Floridian, Las Olas Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. You know it, the corner of 15th and Las Olas. We're having a breakfast, lunch feast. I guess you call it a brunch feast.
It is a feast.
It's a
ridiculous feast.
Welcome to the Lunchbox and welcome to my world. But we're with Maurice Padula, part of the family that has taken over the operation of the Floridian and doing a fine job. I love all the pictures all over. And if you've never been in here, I mean, literally, there's 4 different rooms. I don't know how many square feet, but every inch of every wall is covered with all these pictures of people who've been in here, people posing with Butch Samp, some classic photos of Fort Lauderdale. What goes behind the design here? What's the
pictures have been the same since Butch had it.
Yeah.
But Butch decided to put all these pictures up one by one, and we kept it that way.
Are these people who have actually been in here, or some of them are just
some of them have been in here, some of them have just signed the frame, some of them
they're just cool looking
they're
photos.
great pictures.
I see one of our friend Dave Wani Wanstedt back in the glory years when the Dolphins actually would win a playoff game every now and then.
Yeah.
We know Wani well. And one up on the wall here, that's a conversation piece, a very content-looking Butch.
That was my next point. Was there was a lot of these kinds of pictures around.
People would come in, people who would live in town or come through town. But there's one up here of Butch Samp with one O.J. Simpson who is smiling and not sure what year that was taken in. I'm saying that's pre-Troubles, but to just look at these photos, it's kind of cool. It's relics.
It is. I mean, they bring back history. There's an article on the wall in a frame from 1992.
Okay.
That actually mentions Grand Forno and the Floridian of being 2 of the booming businesses of Las Olas.
92. We're going back also 33 years. Where did the time go?
That's crazy.
That's crazy to me. Grand Forno opened up, and then your family came in and took it over, and it's still doing great, and it's right across the street. Is it weird kind of being in competition with yourself, or you don't really consider it like that?
I don't consider it like that. I try not to think of it like that, only because a lot of the customers that come here go see us at Grand Forno have been seeing us at Grand Forno.
But I've been in there for breakfast a number of times, and you pick up your coffee and your morning pastry.
Correct. They didn't really sell breakfast croissants 10 years ago over at the bakery, but now that I'm kind of involved, I'm seeing if we can modernize the menu over there too.
You also make a good. You do like kind of a pizza, like by the little slice, like a focaccia
slice.
Those are great, by the way. For those of you New Yorkers, go try one of their focaccia slices and tell me that's not good pizza. Maybe it's not a traditional corner slice joint with the grease dripping, but that focaccia pizza,
it's unbelievable.
It's very good.
It really is.
Hey, couple of programming notes. First of all, we will be tomorrow at our friends at Delaware Chicken and Seafood in Hollywood.
Oh, there you
Talk
go.
about an iconic spot.
Iconic.
Very iconic.
They have been there since, it started off as literally a chicken farm further down south on State Road 7. And then Elsie Carter's family, Elsie married Doug Carter. Doug, they moved it up the road and became more of a seafood market. And now Doug is in his 80s. He'll still be working the counter, but he sold it to his longtime manager, Jose. And we're going to be in with Jose and Jean tomorrow. Going to be, can't believe we're getting into the spring holidays. It's going to be Passover
and Easter.
And Easter in the next couple of, it's mid-April, but we're going to preview that. And also, can't believe we're in the final months of stone crab season too. So not that I'm angry for stone crabs tomorrow.
I love that you make sure to mention it throughout the season.
But again, they've been in that spot since the early 60s. So that's another iconic market. We love them. We'll be there tomorrow. Wednesday, we're going to be a new place
from older to
but from older restaurateurs in town. The same folks who operate Taverna Kima up in Boca Raton,
Taverna Opa as well.
Sophia and her family. They have Taverna Opa in Hollywood and Giorgio's Bakery. They had one in Hollywood a long time, but now they just opened one on Galt Ocean Mile.
Sir,
about 3 weeks ago, it opened up. I don't know if you've heard about it, but
great family.
Great family. But Sophia's going to be joining us. We're going to do another brunch edition Wednesday at 11 a.m.
Yep.
And their menu, I dropped in there last week and met the general manager there, a guy named Tony, total Greek. He, very kind of, he looked at me up and down because I told him, we're going to be in next week to do a podcast. Sophia knows me, but I didn't get in touch with her. He goes, you got a card? I was like, no, but I got a Facebook group.
He's showing let's eat. And he's like, what is he talking about?
And I bought a couple of pastries and it looks nice in there in their menu.
God.
They're going from like 7 in the morning till 11 at night, and they got all these Greek, they're trying to take on Greek Islands Taverna is right around the corner, and they do such a big business they could maybe peel off some people instead of waiting, go in there. So we'll check out Giorgio's Bakery, and they do a nice job. And that Thursday we're back at our friends at Batch.
Yes.
For pre-St. Patty's Day,
nice.
St. Patrick's Day. Oh yeah, they had the parade.
The whole thing,
Solis on Saturday, Sunday. What was it?
I think it was
weekend.
Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of activity down here.
Yeah, there was.
On the weekend. No green beer yet. I don't know. And then Friday, back at our usual Friday fun spot, Gulfstream at 10 Palms. One other note: our friend Evan Darnell and the Red Meat Lovers Club tonight. They're taking over Anthony's Runway 84. And it's an annual event because Runway is usually closed on Mondays. But they're going to be doing their takeover for charity. Go online right now, Red Meat Lovers Club. Go rmlclub.com or eventbrite.com. You can get tickets. I think a few still remain for tonight's charity event at Runway 84. It's going to be great. They have a full buffet, a Parm station. We always love to say the words Parm station. And it's going to be a fun time. But me and Lubie, regretfully, will not be able to make it there because we've been invited to a kind of preview of the new Eddie and Vinny's Coastal Cuisine with our friend Eddie Pozzoli, who is opening up the old spot of Tavolino out in your neighborhood there, Lubie.
West.
Looking forward, friends and family, I'm always very forgiving. When a restaurant is brand new,
have to be forgiving at that point.
Let's face it, it's usually a spit show, but that's okay. But we'll, hopefully, it's going to be a great time. We're going to.
Let me ask you, because I always like to ask the restaurateurs. First of all, I always think it's cool how when we bring up these other families, I've been in radio a long time. So I'm always like, what are you doing, Mayo? And the restaurateurs are always like, oh, I love them. They're so great. So I always think it's cool how you guys intertwine. And I feel like this may be a mean question for a man who's not only just married, but is involved in 5 restaurants. Do you get the chance to get out, get around town, go to different places, experience different bites around South Florida?
That's a great question. I would say yes, I do.
Okay.
I try to go out as much as possible, but when you're in my case where I frequent the 5 locations every day, I go touch base at each 5 locations.
You do
every
touch
day.
them all. Yeah.
Absolutely. Every single day. Some days it gets so exhausting where I don't want to go into another restaurant. And, I know I can even cook a better meal than in any restaurant. So going out in the food scene is really not my thing, unfortunately. But as far as going out to experience the atmosphere or to experience a new spot, we love to do that. It's a passion.
Like you said, you have some family friends that own restaurants. That you guys go out.
Absolutely.
Do you support as well?
Absolutely. Pasta and out in
we love
It's funny that you should mention it.
We love Pasta and.
my gal Val's birthday tomorrow.
Oh,
happy
it
birthday,
And
Val.
you know, it's sad that we're not able to go for our annual tradition, which is going to
I
the
know.
pasta dinner,
Wait.
and she can bid on me again, like she does every year.
It's coming back.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Can
Wait.
you make any announcements
We're,
yet?
we're talking September. Shh, don't
Oh.
talk about it yet.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ask.
No,
But
it's all good.
Val was it's coming up on. Val and I, we don't know what our anniversary is because it's like,
Want me to look back?
well, no. She
First
know
dates.
when she bought
First
me
dates.
at auction like a piece of meat. No, it was I put myself up. The pasta dinner was like in a February, but I wasn't even there. She didn't see me or meet me that night. We met when she redeemed her auction charity prize, which was lunch with Mike Mayo. Like, that's a glamorous thing. But at the old actually site of Ernie's Barbecue, when it was Andy's live fire, and we had a very nice lunch. And at the end of the lunch, after we also consumed a bottle of wine and we talked for 2 hours, I was like, would it be all right if I call you and we have another meal? And so then that meal took place in April 2 years ago. And then, but then I don't know. So I guess the anniversary is April. No,
It'd be the first date. You hit it off. I remember.
But that's
we
not a
talked
date. That was a
It
redemption.
doesn't matter.
of
We
a
talked about
prize.
it the next day. When you tell your buddies about a date, it's a date.
It's a date.
And
It wasn't. All right,
it
we gotta
was
go.
a date,
All right,
and
Val,
I
don't
remember it
watch this
very
one.
well because we discussed it, and it worked out. Thank goodness, because Val's freaking amazing.
She's great.
And happy birthday to Val! And
So
tomorrow night,
tomorrow's her
there's a thing you're
birthday,
talking
and where am I taking her? Pasta and, which is just, they do a great job there. John Marco and his family.
Oh
and,
man,
And Alex is working the bar now.
absolutely,
And he
absolutely.
used to be, he worked for, I guess, but
He was with us for
was
about
he?
10 years.
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
about
okay.
15 years.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Grand
So-
Forno.
they do a great job there.
They do.
And I
They do.
happened to be in there a couple of weeks ago after I got bounced out of a poker tournament up in Coconut Creek. And I said, you know what? I need a little something to eat. I haven't been in here forever. It was a Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. I figured I'd go right in. Place was still packed.
Oh, it's
On a Wednesday night, and I hadn't been in there since they expanded and put in that new bar room. And I sat at the bar with Alex, had a fantastic experience. And when I left that night, I was like, I booked for Val's birthday tomorrow night at Pasta and. They do a great job.
There's nothing like a place like that for like an anniversary or a dinner with a date. I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's a great spot. So we are blessed in South Florida and Broward to have so many great restaurants. You know, small little independent family operated places that do just high quality Michelin star work.
Yep.
You know, the Michelin Guide people are in town. You know, I had a great meal at Calusa at Pier 66 the other week. I think they were
Nice.
doing a really nice job. But for me, Michelin isn't the be all and end all. Like, I don't care whether it's got a star or a James Beard award.
Correct.
It's like, if it's good, it's good. And
It's good.
Yeah.
And the Floridian is good.
And
And
the
Grand
Florida-
Forno bread is the best.
Yeah, we
It
love
is.
it. And you guys, and this is it. This is the kind of the places that make a community what it is. And the Floridian has been part of the fiber of Fort Lauderdale
Right,
for
right.
a long time.
Right.
So it's all good.
And if you want a big fruity drink, you go to Cafe Del Mar too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys cover all the bases.
Soon we'll be changing some menu items over here. We'll be updating the menu here as well.
Oh, nice.
It is going to take a little time as we're new to the American cuisine. We've never operated an American cuisine restaurant.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yeah, diner, classic
Yeah,
diner.
this
Yeah,
is a
but look
classic
at these
diner.
hash
Yeah, but the
browns.
hash
browns
I
are
mean,
beautiful.
look at these
I
hash
had
Those are
They're
browns.
great. They're
Thank
crunchy on
you.
the
Thank you.
outside and soft on the inside.
Because
Got
you
the
said you
good
made them a little
seasoning.
bigger.
we made them a little bit bigger. We've modified a lot of the quality is really what we've done.
That's important.
I
Yeah.
could tell. I mean, it's just fantastic.
Thank you.
Do you
Thank
have I've always wondered, like, food history. Why did Greeks get involved with diners and Italians stuck with, like, pizzerias and Italian? Is that a stupid question? But
It's an
why,
interesting question. I
why
don't know
was
if
a
he has the
diner
I
answer.
asked the
a
same
Greek
question
thing?
when I found out that
Yeah.
a Greek
Yeah.
gentleman owned this for 40 years. I was like, why is it?
And everyone has to have a coffee cup to go with the Acropolis on it.
Yeah,
It's like- Hey, we got to do the
One more.
contest. I'm
We're
sorry.
doing
One more break, too.
Yes.
Okay. So congratulations, Lisa Koch.
Another
Won the
Koch
contest. Another Koch family member. We love the whole Koch family, and hopefully, Lisa, you could redeem the prize and bring lots of your family members to our next brunch bash on Sunday, April 6th at 10 Palms at Gulfstream, an all-day brunch buffet. If you've won a contest, you could redeem your prize then, and you could also have friends and family join you at a discounted rate, only $44 per person. If you want to come, it's a break of 20% off the usual price. Joe Beja down there gives us a nice deal for when we have our brunch gatherings, and we're going to have a day at the races. We're going to have a lot of fun, all-day brunch buffet. If you want to come, just email me at mikemayoeats@gmail.com. Just the number of people in your party, and you don't even have to pay until the day of the event, April 6th again. And Lisa Koch, you got the correct restaurant, which was in honor of National Meatball Day, Cafe Morderano. The only clue I really should have given was Yo Cuz, but I gave a lot more clues, and lots of people got
That's
Cafe
the answer, not the clue.
Cafe Morderano. And then the feature race on the card for Saturday's contest race was the second race, a classy maiden race for 3-year-olds on the grass. And surprise, surprise, Todd Pletcher won.
Geez.
Number 12, Assertiveness. Ridden by your man, John Velasquez, who got you paid at the Derby one year.
He did.
But shockingly, Pletcher horse paid, it was 9-1, $20.20, 2020 hindsight vision. And there was only 3 people got the 12. There was this like horse that supposedly was the fastest thing since sliced bread, couldn't lose. It was like 4 to 5 up the track, didn't even hit the board. And Assertiveness did win the race.
And
then
what was Lakers Celtics was a game.
Then it was Lakers Celtics was the tiebreaker. 3 people had Assertiveness. One of them had Celtics by 5. One had Celtics by 6. One, Lisa Koch, had Celtics by 8, and the Celtics won by 10 points. So, Lisa Koch, congratulations. You and a guest have won all expense paid brunch for 2 at 10 Palms at Gulfstream Park. Brunch on the weekends here. Maurice, do you guys do any like the bottomless options and mimosas, where you just sell a la carte like Bloody Mary?
Most of it is a la carte.
Okay.
We did run a special for the 2-for-1 mimosas and 2-for-1 Bloody Marys.
Nice.
So I guess you guys are just gonna have to stop in and check
it out.
Yeah, come check it out.
2-for-1 sounds good because,
That's
like,
a nice move.
let's face it,
Just go to the beach.
whoever drinks
That's it. Cafe Del Mar on the beach.
Cafe Del Mar.
That's where
really
you want to
great.
have one. That's where you want to have brunch.
But you do have full liquor here, as you can see. There's a full bar
yes, we
behind
do.
us,
We
and
do.
that's served 24 hours, or
No, that's served until 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, but again, on the brunch, 2-for-1 sounds like a pretty good deal for me, especially Bloody Marys, because
Perfect.
who could drink
You don't
more
need
than
more.
2 Bloody Marys?
No, you do go to Cafe Del Mar. And he's like, believe me.
All right. Let's take our final break, and then we will get out of here on the Lunchbox. We'll let Andy and Maurice get back to
Thank you
their
so much
real
for having us.
work.
Yes,
and
thank you so
this,
much.
For some reason, is our real work. So we'll be back with more after these words. Southern comfort food from a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar, a great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, and also now with a new location on Las Olas Boulevard. Those are my spots. Upscale food and a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. If you want great Italian food in a beautiful beachfront setting, have I got the place for you. Casa Calabria at the Ocean Manor Resort, 4040 Galt Ocean Drive in Fort Lauderdale. Highly rated across all the restaurant review platforms and totally Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. Delicious, authentic Southern Italian food in a cozy dining room overlooking the Atlantic. Live music in the lounge, full bar, and a great wine list. Owner Frank Talrico takes great pride in his family recipes from his native Calabria. Fresh fish and seafood, veal, house-made pastas, and marinara sauces smooth as silk. You gotta try the imported meats and cheeses on the antipasta platters, and don't miss that ricotta gnocchi, fluffy little pillows straight from heaven. Casa Calabria, open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday, closed. Hey, it's Mayo here for Prezzo Italian Restaurants. 2 locations, Boca Raton at Park Place on Military Trail and Palm Beach Gardens in the PGA Commons on PGA Boulevard. Contemporary Italian cuisine with house-made pastas, wood-fired pizzas, salads, veal, chicken, and of course their famous focaccia bread with oven-roasted garlic bulbs. In Garlic We Trust is their slogan, and you can trust Prezzo for a great experience with gracious service and tremendous value. Open 7 days, featuring brunch, lunch, dinner, and happy hour. Great wine deals and full bar at both locations. For reservations and more information. All right, we're back to wrap up this edition of the Lunchbox. We had a fabulous time
Yes.
here at the Flow. You
Amazing.
buried us in
Maurice, thank you, my
food.
friend.
Maurice Padula of, well, we're going to call it the Grand Forno Group from now on. But all the restaurants you're operating, doing a bang-up job.
Thank you very much.
Good
and
luck.
I really appreciate you guys for having us.
And we appreciate you for maintaining the tradition here at the Flow.
Absolutely.
Andy Cagnetta, thank you as always.
Thank you.
It's always great to be here.
We'll do it again next month.
We will.
I think at Sonny's Famous Steak Hoggies.
Yeah, there you go.
Pronounced Hoagies, but they misspelled it for a reason. No, it's a story, and we'll get into it when we hopefully visit
Beautiful.
with them next month. Sometime in early April before all the holiday madness begins.
Nice.
Passover starts April 12th.
Yes.
Easter late this year, April 20th.
Yes, it
But we will be back with the TransWorld Iconic Eateries segment again next month. But until then, come on out to the
Get into
Flow.
the
If you've
Floridian.
never been here, like, I can't believe I'm going to just shame you. Shame.
You should.
Shame.
I'm not against it.
Lubie.
I deserve it.
You got to
Bring
open
the
your eyes.
family, bring the strollers.
Yeah,
they got
exactly.
room here.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
great.
great.
Los
It's a great
Olas
place.
is
Exactly.
happening and hopping, and they have all these festivals and things going on. But you want to stop in here for a nice bite. Doesn't matter what time of day.
That's
Any
great.
time of the
Day
day,
or
any
night.
day of the year.
And I forgot to mention those shakes, old-fashioned,
Oh, this is
classic,
fantastic.
kind of
Thank
going
you.
back to
So
the
good.
Thank you.
1937 beginnings of the soda fountain and
Absolutely.
drugstore of the Floridian. Strawberry shake, delicious. I only took one sip.
Thank
did.
you.
I'm being good. Mike Moderation Mayo. That's my name. All right, Andy, Maurice,
Thank you.
Guys,
Lubie,
thank you.
thank you
Thank
for all
you.
your help.
Thank you very
We'll
much.
see everybody tomorrow at the Delaware. And until then, enjoy every sandwich.
Jelly and custard, beans, pudding and samoloy.